Nothing could be sadder than seeing the trees of our Dehesas die. The countryside is becoming emptier and losing its landmarks. We all feel it. Those of us who live off the fruit of the holm oak and the pastures, those who enjoy the mild and serene landscape, anybody who loves life. At the outset of the 90s, the deterioration and death of the holm and cork oaks was clearly noticeable. For some years we were at a loss. We didn't know what was causing the trees to die, particularly since sometimes it was sudden, and at other times it was a more gradual process. We gave it a name, Seca, or drying out, which represented what was obvious. The trees weakened and wilted until they died. Symptoms were similar to those caused by other diseases, with a total or partial drying up of the plant, as if affected by drought. This intuitive concept was widely adopted by society to describe what was happening. However, this was something of a confusing definition. Similar phenomena are involved, but there are a variety of different causes, which made it impossible to find a single solution appropriate to the different cases. During recent years, we've learnt a lot more about Seca. We know that weather variations within the context of current climate change can affect the general state of vegetation, making it more vulnerable and susceptible to invasion of pathogens and plagues. We also know that there are different agents that can have a decisive influence on the death of trees: earth pathogens, branch and trunk perforating insects, imbalances caused by bad practices such as damage to the bark that encourages the spread of diseases called cankers, factors that contribute to the loss of vitality in trees and which oblige us to be aware of the need to encourage management which respects our pasture land estates in order to avoid producing adverse effects. And we now know that there is a particularly important causal agent, the progress of which is fundamental in explaining the death of a great number of the various species of oaks in certain areas, the pathogen Phytophthora cinnamomi.
Phytophthora cinnamomi es un patógeno de suelo que produce la podredumbre de raicillas de quercus, de alcornoques y encinas. Como consecuencia de eso, el árbol al faltarle las raíces no puede tomar el agua y los nutrientes y le dan síntomas similares a los producidos por la sequía. Es un patógeno que está extendido a nivel mundial, está en todos sitios y produce importantes enfermedades en los castaños, en los eucaliptos, en los arándalos y en muchísimas plantas.
Unfortunately, there are very few tools at our disposal to halt the effects of Phytophthora. It's still not possible to eradicate it from affected areas. For this reason, all possible measures must be applied to prevent it reaching areas free from the disease and to reduce its presence in already infected areas.
Bueno, las tres medidas más importantes a la hora de no transmitir el patógeno y infectando la finca es la limpieza de utensilios utilizados en las labores, bien sea hacha, motosierra, luego en las labores de movimiento de tierra, como grada, las cadenas de las gradas, de los tractores de grada, en fin, los utensilios utilizados, desinfectarlos también, para que no vayamos repartiendo todos los patógenos por el resto de toda la finca. Y los vados sanitarios, que los vados sanitarios son muy importantes también a la hora de ir pasando de unas partes de la finca a otras y de unas fincas a otras.
Among the active measures that research has found to be effective against the rotting process is fertilizing the ground with lime, which reduces capacity for infection. It's essential to carry out careful land management. By avoiding degradation and excessive compacting of the soil, we can reinforce it against possible infections. By improving the health of the entire Dehesa environment, we can make it more viable as a balanced space for life. By backing its renovation, we can provide more options to guarantee the future of the Dehesas. These measures have been put into practice in the network of estates which are part of the Life Biodehesa project, so as to disseminate knowledge and therefore contribute to improving the state of the ecosystem. Researchers have been making efforts to find new solutions by testing products that control the pathogen and evaluating best management practices to improve the state of the trees. They've also identified trees which are able to resist the infection and are searching for an answer as to what mechanisms allow this to happen. It's a long-term battle that we're fighting. Meanwhile, we have to continue caring for our Dehesas, including those that have already unfortunately lost trees.